So as you guys can see, we are cooking up something pretty badass and certainly a lot of fun that we are all excited about to deliver to you guys. And I can't wait to show you more. You know, I always thought that it might be cool to hang out with Superman. That would be cool, right? I mean, we're kind of similar in terms of our powers, our strengths, our speeds. Because look, at the end of the day, you never know. Black Adam and Superman could become friends. Or they won't. Who knows? Maybe we'll see. But before I go, I want you guys to help me out with something. It's something that's pretty important. I need you guys to help me get a message out to some of the other ones. Some of the other DC superheroes. Let's let Flash, Shazam, Aquaman, Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman. Let's let them know something. Things will never be the same because the hierarchy of power in the DC universe is about to change.
Welcome back, everyone. It's Charlie. Turns out the hierarchy of the DC universe did not change, or at least change in the way that The Rock was expecting. He just revealed on his social media accounts that he was basically out as Black Adam. Black Adam 2 will not be happening. There have also been a lot of interesting details about what went down behind the scenes because James Gunn rebooting the entire DC movies. Apparently, The Rock had been cooking something way bigger. There was a bunch of drama behind the scenes. I'll explain what was going on and what his plans had been.
There's no one on this planet that can stop me.
Boom! If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe to get all the videos. James Gunn did say that he'd be revealing all of DC Phase 1, like the new DC universe of movies, in January, so we won't actually have to wait that long before finding out what the first batch of movies will be in his new timeline of DC movies with the new actors. He already announced that the new Young Superman movie is going to be a big part of that, so of course I'll do videos for everything that they continue to reveal. But in the past few weeks, you probably saw The Rock posting a bunch about the Black Adam movie and Black Adam 2. So the first Black Adam movie underperformed financially in a big way. A bunch of the Hollywood trades, the website started reporting that there wasn't going to be a Black Adam 2 now, like the chances for sequels basically had gone away because the movie underperformed. And in response, The Rock leaked a balance sheet for the movie to Deadline and made a bunch of public posts about how the movie would actually be profitable. It would earn up to $40 to $50 million when figuring in toy sales and merch. This was before James Gunn started to announce the end of the Justice League characters in the reboot of the DC movies. Just a little while after The Rock had started to make a bunch of noise about Black Adam 2, all the plans he'd made for the future of the characters, James Gunn comes out and starts canceling DC movies and announcing that actors are out. They announced Wonder Woman 3 is basically canceled, and even though he tried to be very nice about the way he talked about it, Gal Gadot is effectively out as Wonder Woman. They'll probably recast. Henry Cavill, who'd been a very big part of The Rock's push to bring Superman, his version of the Man of Steel, back in the future of the Black Adam movies, announces they just recast him as Superman. The new Superman movie that James Gunn announced he was writing was for a young Superman like Superman Year 2. They're doing the same thing with Superman that they did with the young Robert Pattinson's Batman character. So one of the big linchpins of The Rock's plans was effectively out. Don't cry for Henry Cavill, though. He's moving on to a Warhammer franchise he himself will be helping to craft to make as many Warhammer mini puns as possible. Crafting is a big part of that universe. Probably an even bigger part of the universe than actually winning those games. I already did a whole separate video for the trailer he released for that, so I'll put a link at the end of this and down in the description below. I'm very happy for him. He'll announce more for that soon. After the year that Ezra Miller has been having, we all expected him to be out after the Flash movie no matter what, which is why no one is questioning his fate. Like, oh, he's definitely out.
My name is Ezra Miller, and I am criminally excited to be a part of the Justice League.
Ray Fisher had so many problems with the powers that be at Warner Brothers this past year that he's been out for a while, like he was supposed to be in the Flash movie early on, but it sounds like when they actually started making that movie, they rewrote it because of all the problems he was having with the powers that be at Warner Brothers. They already announced that Jason Momoa's Aquaman 2 will be his last movie in the DCEU as Aquaman, and he's probably coming back as a version of Lobo in James Gunn's rebooted DCU. That was all the noise that he was making a while ago too. Like, he's so happy to be able to do what he wanted to do, which is play a version of Lobo. And he will make an awesome version of Lobo. Like, we'd all been fan casting him as Lobo long before Zack Snyder cast him as Aquaman. Here's where it gets a little bit funny because it's still a developing situation, like actors are still coming out and saying, oh, I'm totally not going to be recast. Zachary Levi being chief among them. Like, he seems optimistic that he's going to continue as Shazam in the new DC movies under James Gunn.
I have no idea what's ultimately going to happen to me. I think I'm in a pretty good position. I think we made a great movie. I think it's going to do well, reasonably well. I hope so. But again, regardless of that, if they decide at some point that, hey, this is the way we got to go, I mean, them's the breaks. That's how it goes. And I hope that people enjoyed. At whatever point I finish playing the role of Shazam, I hope people enjoyed my tenure playing the role and that they come with me to whatever else I get to go and do. That's it, okay? So I don't want to... It's hard for me to see all these random comments and like basically lies and things that people are throwing around online and not want to respond. Because I hate lies, I hate deceit, I hate injustice so much. And so I want to set records straight. By the way, so does James. He's been doing this for a long time. That's why he's so active on Twitter, because he really wants people to know what's up truly and wanting to set records straight. And so it's, that's why you'll see action from me or him or other people coming to defense. It's not because we want to get tied up in some random argument with an internet troll. It's because we're trying to help cut through all of this random, deceitful banter that just keeps going around and around, because a lot of people who are very good, kind people who really like Shazam or these other things are getting worried, like, oh, is this all falling apart? Is this all going away? Everyone just take a breath. I know we've seen some characters, some actors that are taking an exit, and I know that's difficult. That's difficult for even me. You know what I mean? I was hoping I got to work with a lot of these folks, but it's just not the way it's going to go down right now. And I think you all need to, whoever out there is still like all drummed up and pissed off, like just trust that James is so, look, if you haven't watched what he did with Guardians, which was a total niche property that he actually brought really awesome life to, and his reboot of Suicide Squad that was better than the first one, he really made something incredible there. He understands comic books, guys. He understands world building. He understands how to do right by the canon and also by the characters and also by the audience. And Peter's there to be he's an incredible diplomat and business person. I've worked with him now for years. Just breathe. It's going to be okay. It's going to be better than okay.
They're also still releasing the 3 other DC movies that are coming out next year despite all the drama. They want those to perform as well as they can financially. But the plan right now in the DC movies is that like 90% or more of the DC actors are going to be recast. Zachary Levi's chances of continuing are extremely small, especially because all the kids from those movies that are a big part of the Shazam movies are aging up so quickly. Like by the time they would make Shazam 3, they would all be adults themselves. So it kind of defeat the purpose of doing the Shazam movies. The outside hope now is that because they're releasing all those movies next year is that when the Flash movie comes out, because they're doing a version of Flashpoint already, they'll just rework the ending a little bit that will explain that all these reboots that are happening, this brand new timeline that's going to start, will be because of Flashpoint. Just blame the Flash for everything. Sure is a nice timeline there. Really suck if somebody just went and messed it up. But the even bigger behind-the-scenes news you probably also heard when The Rock announced that he was out as Black Adam were all the plans that he'd been trying to make on his own. Like, he was hyping the hierarchy of power in the DC Universe was about to change for a couple years now. Based on what was revealed, turns out what he meant is that he was personally trying to establish Black Adam as the focal point of all the upcoming DC movies, like Justice League 2, everything. His Black Adam would be the most important character. He even turned down the chance to have cameo scenes in Shazam 2 in the Flash movie when Warner Bros. Offered them to him. Before October, before James Gunn was hired, they revealed that the current heads of DC at the time were going to use the Flash movie to set up a larger 10-year plan building towards a movie version of Crisis on Infinite Earths. They were going to use all the upcoming DC movies that were coming out next year to set that up. There were a bunch of special cameo scenes they filmed for that, like Henry Cavill filmed a cameo scene for the Flash movie where they set up the new Crisis movie. Ben Affleck's Batman also did something similar in Aquaman 2 post-credit scene that he filmed. And all the plans that The Rock was trying to make at DC for his Black Adam character were completely separate from what the other powers that be at Warner Brothers were trying to do with the characters. So there's this big tug of war behind the scenes at Warner Brothers before James Gunn came on. And had the Black Adam movie earned over $1 billion at the box office, he might have had a chance of pulling some of those plans off, like he might have had a chance of continuing. James Gunn was hired shortly after that, though, wanted to reboot DC movies in a big way, recast almost everybody, and start fresh with a new timeline, slightly different backstories for all the characters. It just sounds like the Black Adam movie underperforming financially in a big way, The Rock having very public fights with Warner Brothers and behind-the-scenes issues, probably with James Gunn too. Strong disagreements is the political term they'd probably use for it. Like, we had strong disagreements about the future of Black Adam inside the DC universe. That probably just sealed the deal. James Gunn was like, I have no plans for Black Adam in the phase 1 of the new DC movies. So it's sort of like The Rock was engaged in this bare-knuckle brawling match with Warner Brothers behind the scenes for the future of what the DC movies would be. Then James Gunn comes in as the ringer and just wipes the slate clean. It's like, no, we're not doing any of that. We're going to do what I want to do. He's supposed to be DC's new Kevin Feige, so naturally he doesn't want to have to compete with a bunch of like really big movie star egos in the future. That's why I'm kind of hoping that when they do recast a lot of these characters, they go with relatively unknown actors. The characters are so big, you don't have to cast like a really huge actor in the role for any of these big Justice League characters. There's still a ton of questions. Like I said, James Gunn said he would reveal what like the full DC phase 1 of movies is going to be in a couple weeks. It sounds like they're trying to make Superman the focal point of this new DC universe, not so much Batman, which is what they tried to do before, like 10 Batman movies for every one Superman movie. Right now, it sounds like some of, not all, but some of the Suicide Squad characters under James Gunn will continue, and most of the Peacemaker characters. Everyone click here for that new Henry Cavill Warhammer trailer video to learn about the future of his character, and click here for that new Loki Season 2 trailer video and Easter eggs. Thank you so much for watching, everyone stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.